I'm going to run my way through a seed here and kind of go at a slow rate so that I can talk my way through each kind of decision point and kind of give you my take on the different ways to do that. So first things first, we're going to reset this here. So for the Swiss flags, I'm going to cut and paste the codes into the chat just so that they are part of the video. We will be using the newest version of the beta, so check Subtracted Soup's GitHub for that. So all the races are going to begin with the player starting on the snowfields just like we are right now. And then once there's the countdown, your timer will start when you hit go. So that's kind of how the races start. Each person will be playing the same seed, and it's 1v1. So here we go. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, go. Alright, so entering Narsh, the very first thing you want to do, you always want to mash your way through all the text boxes. Now this uses a cutscenes code that skips a lot of the text boxes. Now the first thing you want to do though is change your battle speed up to battle speed to 6 and your message speed to 1. What that does is your battle speed to 6 makes the monsters act as slowly as possible, which is good for you for survivability. Your message speed 1 makes it so that your windows move through as fast as possible to save you time. The other thing that is usually recommended is changing your cursor to memory, because that allows you to menu much quicker in combat, which again will save you time in the overall race. So you want to move that over there. You're also going to want to move all 3 of your characters into the back row. Now this is especially important if this is for the top 8 and you're running a hard mode seed. For the Swiss, it's still recommended because that's going to cut your damage down by 50%, and all of your Magitech damage will still be the full damage. So that's actually all I do here. Now some people like to check out the gear that you have. That's certainly an option, but it does take time. You can see that Wedge has a Moogle charm, so we're not going to get a lot of encounters in the caves. So that's something to be aware of, and it might make us want to fight an extra battle that we might normally skip as a result of that. So we're going to keep that in mind. Something else that you can also do is check what Terra's skills are. So she has level 5 Doom and she has Tools. Tools is actually pretty good, and level 5 Doom is pretty bad. But most importantly, she has the item command. Now these races often come down to a lot of item breaks and using Super Balls. So the fact that she has item is very useful. The other thing you can do, I wouldn't necessarily recommend it just because of the time it takes. You can also check for any special effects, because we are using a version of the randomizer that also shows us any special effects. So none of those have a special effect, so we are going to move on. So if you move to the right here, there is a battle you can get into. I don't recommend it. It's going to waste you more time and not get you enough experience. So moving up here starts the first battle. In all these battles with these things, you do want to run away with Wedge and Vix. Alright, so Tech Missile is very good. Hyperdrive is very good for single target damages. I don't really have very good multi-target damages here. Heal Force is also good to know that I have, because it means that I can afford to take a little bit more damage earlier on and still heal Terra back. Because Terra's the most important person, and ideally, without wasting too much time, you want to get her to level 6, because it'll make the rest of your race easier. So, in this case, we're going to use Hyperdrive on one of these guys, and we're going to run away with the other 2. And you do that by running while Terra is doing something. You can only run away when you have full ATB bars. So by doing that, that's actually going to eliminate Wedge and Vix from the pool of experience that's gathered here. And now we're going to continue and finish killing these guards here with Hyperdrive. This Hyperdrive is one of, if not the single most high damage single target spell. And it ignores defense, so it's very good. So right here, at the cross, is an encounter that you can skip if you so choose. You can just go right around it like that. And that is what I would recommend in most race seeds, because in most race seeds you can always get additional encounters in the cave if you feel like Terra is not a high enough level for what you want, right? So if Terra's still level 3, when you get into the cave, you might want to have a couple additional encounters. Now, if you recall, when we looked at this, Wedge has a Moogle charm, which means we're going to see very few encounters in the cave. As a result of that, I'm going to actually step onto this tile and start the encounter here. Like I said, typically you're going to want to go around that because it's not worthwhile. Now we can't run from these guys, so there's no reason not to use Wedge and Vix's abilities here to try to kill them faster. Now you'll notice that I often will defend, and what I'm doing there is I'm getting out of the menu. If you have the menu closed, it does save you, I believe it's 12 frames. And again, those small time add-ups can add up to a lot. So here, I'm going to see if I can kill both with Megavolt. And I'm going to run away with Wedge and Vix here. Megavolt is very, very weak, so it's not the ideal spell to use. And that's the thing, that's kind of a gamble that I made. The safe route would be to just hyperdrive twice, like I did in the very first combat. Here, I'm doing a bit of a gamble. Did they? I'm not totally sure what happened there, but I guess Megavolt did not work. Tech Missile and Hyperdrive are both going to do the job here. And once again, we're doing this to ensure that Terra gets enough experience to ideally get her to level 6, if not, well, at least level 5, if not level 6. You can do it with a lower level Terra, but it is harder, and you are more likely to die. So up here again, there's one more fight here. This is the pincer. Now what we learned from the earlier fights is that I cannot run away from the dancing lady, but I can run away from the soldiers. So I'm going to make sure that we kill the dancing lady off. I'm going to run away with Wedge and Vix again to ensure that Terra gets all the experience. And we do this to make sure that I can still run away. So if I kill the dancing lady last, I'm not able to get all the experience with Terra. I'm going to hyperdrive here, and that will put all the experience into Terra's lap. Right, and then you really just mash through all these things. You notice I've got some diamond vests and some scimitars. This is tierless. Alright, so Terra can't use either of them, which is unfortunate. Scimitars are useful things to use, because if you get an offering, then it's actually one of the quicker ways of killing a bunch of enemies, or it can be. Alright, so then we have one more encounter here, once again. So we can't run, so what that tells me is that, again, the enemies in the front here. Alright, so they absorb that. And what I'm doing here in with Wedge. Now if you stay in the menu, because you have wait mode on, ATBs stop. So what you can do is called a wait trick, which anytime that your animations are going on, you want to be in the menu, and whenever the enemy's animations are going on, you want to be out of the menu so that your ATBs are filling up. Alright, so now we're going to hyperdrive him. And I'm going to run away with Wedge and Vix, because I killed the other two guys first. I'm still able to run here. So I run away here, giving all the experience to Terra. Alright, got a force shield too, which is a pretty nice item. And Terra's level 6, which is what we wanted to do. Can't use it, but that's okay. Now that's all of the forced encounters to do Marsh. There's typically exactly one encounter that's forced in the first steps right there. Oops. Now, because I ran away with Terra, which was not intended, there is some merit to killing the enemies in the hopes that they give me a good drop. There's also a lot of merit to just running away with the enemies. So I would say typically here, if Terra ran away, I would also just run with Wedge and Vix. I'm killing them now because I'm not actually going as fast as I normally would. And I always like to see what drops fall. And they didn't drop anything, right? So, and that's the reason why I would not have actually done that. I would have just ran away. So, when you get to the first save point, you definitely do want to save. There's definitely some times where you could have a bit of a trolley nourish. You might not even make it here with all 3 people. And going into the wall fight, you might have some pretty low HP. So sometimes it is a good idea to heal as well. Welk always goes first. There is no text at the beginning. Now, Bolt Beam is slightly more powerful than the other beams. Very minimal. Okay, but it heals here. So now we're going to use Fire Beam. And we are of course going to use Hyperdrive. Alright, so Fire Beam is good. So you can see I've stayed in the menu. And that's to make sure that the Welk's ATB is not filling out. So now, the Welk will get 1 action here. And while I'm going to be very deliberate in my actions here, so there's the attack, he's going to through. We have to stay out of the menu for his ATB to continue so that he can come back out of the shell. You want to make sure you don't hit the shell. That's another reason you use Bolt Beam, is because in vanilla the shell absorbs Bolt Beam, or absorbs lightning, and if you absorb it, if it absorbs it, it's not taking damage, so it doesn't actually counterattack. If you deal damage to it, it will counterattack. So as soon as you see the blue, you can target and go ahead. Now here's a reason why you can just hold A and queue up all your attacks. Back room. Hyperdrive is the most efficient way. Protecting Cell is the second most efficient way. If he's weak to lightning, Gigavolt's very good, Wave Cannon's very good, Shrapnel is very good as well, as far as Magitech options. Alright, so now that Welk's dead, there's a couple things you can do. If you feel like you won't have an issue running to the save point after Arvis's house, then you can just move on ahead. I'm going to show the safe way of doing this. Now, also because we have a Moogle Charm, we're not going to get into any encounters. But then we're going to save here. On some seeds, the run from Arvis's house to the save point with Solitaire can be quite scary. So, if you're new to this, I would recommend definitely saving there, so you only have to kill the Welk once. Now, as soon as you step up here, the cutscene code will happen, and then you're here. So you can just run here. Typically in a traditional Kefkat Narsh race, or a Kefkat Narsh run, you always want to lower your characters' names down to 1 character because of all the dialogue. Now, because of the cutscene's code, I believe it's actually faster to just keep the name there. This is not fully tested, not fully confirmed. Yeah, it will take a little bit more testing to figure that out, but I think just leaving it as a full name and just hitting start go ahead is easier and faster than lowering it to 1 character and moving ahead. Because of how much dialogue is skipped, the only dialogue that it really makes a difference in is in the Bannon Raft area, and from what I see, it doesn't matter whether the name is 1 character or 4 characters, so I think this actually saves time. Now, some people will go ahead and choose to get this clock. I typically recommend not getting it, because if it is a monster in a box, it's going to set you back quite a long time. If you saved after the Welk, it's not that big of a time loss, but if you didn't save after the Welk, then I definitely would not recommend getting it. So, Arvis's gives us 2 items as well. Normally they're sleeping bags, but they're randomized, so you get 2 anything. So it looks like we've got a tack star, we've got a dice, and we've got some mythal mail out of the clock. None of these things can be used yet, which is unfortunate, but so it is. So we're going to walk through here. We're going to do our best to get to the save point as quickly as we can. And because we are already level 6, I feel 0 desire to fight any enemies here, and we're just going to run away as fast as we possibly can. Attack star. Attack star. Exactly. Ooh, another encounter right away. Alright, there's an preemptive, and we're out of here. So then you're going to want to save here as well. This is your first save point with Soledad Ortega. Now, if this is a hard mode seed, sometimes you're going to have to continue to reset to get a good encounter seed to get your way up to the top. If it's an easy mode seed, that's less likely, but still a potential option. So now we're just going to run away. These two chests here, some people like to get them. Personally, for myself, I do not. I think that running around with solo Terra is dangerous enough, especially sometimes the enemies you can't run from and can suck up a lot of time. I think that these two chests are far enough out of the way that they're not worth getting. If you are going to get one, I would maybe get this one because it's only a few steps out. But if it's a monster in a box, you're probably going to die and then you're going to be starting over. So the other chest, I would almost never try to get because I think it wastes too much time and there's too much chance for it to go wrong. Getting an experience egg is not awful. I'm not really going to be fighting a whole lot of encounters the whole run. The plus 20 evade is a nice thing though. So sure. We're going to move on here. Need to run away from the tubs. Now as soon as you get up here, we're going to cut to naming lock. Like I said again, it's going to be faster to do that. So here with the Moogle fight, you have a lot of options. You can check what lock comes with. You can usually optimize some things. We're going to throw a force shield on there. It looks like you can't use anything else, and you can't use weapons. Now if you want, you can go and check his stats, which he's got pretty bad skills here. You are going to probably want to put him in the back row if this is the part you're going to move forward with. Now one thing I say definitely recommend no matter what the seed is go to Mog and steal his equipment. You don't care what his skills are necessarily, and you don't really care about this party at all. Now, if you're just learning how to run these things, then you can gather a lot of information from this here. So you can see that Cyan has a gem box, Kupek has a gem box, and that's changing fight to Magitech. So that's valuable knowledge for later if you see a gem box for sale, because Magitech, if you put it on Terra, has Hyperdrive. So that's pretty good. Jump, Blitz, Sword Tech, Runic. So no really good skills there. You can kind of get a feel for what the skills are in the seed just by looking at all the Moogles here. Blitz is available, Tools is available. Knowing that Tools is available, which we already knew from Terra, but if Terra didn't have Tools but you still saw Tools here, that may make you want to hold on to any tools that you find instead of selling them potentially. Right? Knowing that Throw is available means you want to hold on to high power weapons, so that if one of your characters, if you do get a character with Throw, then it means it's in the seed, then you're going to have things for them to throw. But so we're just going to move on. We're going to go all the way down here. If you have something like slots or something, then you may want to fight these encounters. I'm going to show you how to do the skip here, but I would say most of the time it's not worthwhile. You're going to wait for this leg to be out, and then you're going to walk past. And in the newbie guide, it does show you exactly all the positions where you can walk past them without getting into an encounter. Now mostly you can just fight, use whatever skills are available, kill these guys. Marshals sometimes will have some dangerous attacks, but for the most part, just use whatever you have. Now, if it is a hard mode seed, then you definitely want to back row everybody, and the martial fight can actually be seriously dangerous. But for the regular Swiss rounds, I shouldn't have too many trouble there. You should be able to kill it quite easily. So the biggest key here is to use your most efficient skills, and that's the big key, is killing things as fast as possible. Fighting with Lock is actually largely a waste of time, so I'm going to stop doing that. Now you can see what magic he has. He starts with float naturally, which is nice. Got a water edge, couple diamond vests. So now we start here. So I usually run out of the town first, then I go here, I flip Terra into the top so that when we're shopping we're going to get discounts. I will throw anything on here that I can. there any other relics, which we haven't got any, but that now would be the time to equip them, and then save. Now usually I do a double save here, just in the event that I put myself in a position where I want to go back. So now we're going to walk all the way down to Castle Figaro. Because Terra is level 6, it means that all of my future characters are going to start at higher levels, which would mean Locke's level 8, and so on and so forth. So we just got hit with a stop special, which is unfortunate. But I'm going to take this time to see, okay, so mental males do break, they can multi-target. So that's a good thing to know. Checking item breaks is an important thing to do, because a lot of these seeds are driven by your item breaks. Actually, I'm going to keep that up. Let's see. Mental mail is ice, which is not good, so if I see them for sale, I'm not going to bother buying them. Don't you do it. Alright, thank goodness. Now some of you may be wondering, why am I killing 2 enemies and still running away? I don't believe that Locke was going to be able to kill that character or that enemy in one hit, and so therefore it's faster. Now here, I am avoiding the forest, but if you have a dancer, you may want to get an encounter in the forest. I'm running over here, and go straight down to Castle Figaro. Again, if you have a dancer, you may want to kill one fight in dance to get the desert dance. If you don't have dance, I wouldn't necessarily worry about it. I always save one slot here, just before the castle. Now this is our first opportunity to purchase items, and the shops are very important in these races, and you have to make decisions very quickly. If you feel like it, you're certainly open to getting these. We just got a charm bangle, which is arguably one of the best items here. Alright, this is our first opportunity to shop. So, tool boots, any kind of command changes are valuable things to get. And so, even though nobody can use it yet, I don't mind buying one for about 300. Now you want to manage your money very carefully. You only want to get top tier items, and you want to prioritize either things that deal damage, things that heal you, or Phoenix Downs. So there are elixirs here for 235, which is not bad, but I want to look at the other shop on the other side. Ooh, a bunch of money, so that helps. So Aegis Shields for 10, that's pretty great. So I'm going to buy 10 of them in the event that they also break for something useful. Coin toss for 60, I can definitely buy that, but it is a command changer and it might give me an advantage later on. I'm also going to buy some Genji shields. A, because I found some more money, so I don't mind spending a little bit of money. And because Genji shields are a very high defense end game item. The rest of this stuff, I'm not going to bother with at all. I mean, there could be some argument to buying a bunch of silk ropes in the event that they break for Ultima or something very good, but the risk is usually not worth the reward. Now, if you find really bad items, sometimes you might want to take the time to go up and get this chest. If you got good items, you probably don't want to bother, right? Because it is extra time and you're running out of the way. Now, because I did get a charm bangle, I'm going to want to put that on Terra. You either want to put it on Terra or Edgar, because that's the person who's going to be in the first scenario that you're going to do, and therefore you don't have to take it off and re-equip it later on. So we're going to put that there for now. Hook her up with that, keep that on him, and we're going to move on and go get Edgar. Now we're going to just run around, go through all of the motions, got to run over here, talk and name Sabin, then run back and talk to Edgar again. We're going to talk to her, and him, and back here. Now, sometimes you will get chancellered. If you want to avoid the chancellor, we luckily did in this seed. We'll go over here and grab him. This is gonna cue Kefka. So, and I just missed something, but typically you want to keep all of them in the front row so before you talk to Edgar, move both Terra and Locke into the front row, and then also once you get Edgar, move him to the front row. And you do that because when you fight the MTech armor shortly, then you'll be in the back row to receive less damage. So seeing Edgar has fight, jump, R-time, and magic. None of those things are particularly good. Jump's not bad. We equip the scimitar there. We don't have any other relics for him to wear. Just talk to those guys. Now, one thing that I forgot to do, because I was distracted by talking my way through this, is there's elixirs here. Now, you don't need a ton of healing items, but you do need some. So based on the cost and your ability, you'll kind of learn to know how much to get. I want to save some money for South Figaro, where there's 4 shops, and there could be a lot better things, I should say. Either better healing items for cheaper, or whatever it happens to be. So I'm going to buy 10 of these here, just in the event that there are 0 healing items to purchase there. If green cherries were cheaper, I might buy 1 or 2, because any specials are annoying, but at that price, they're not worth buying. Okay, so now we're feeling somewhat well equipped. We're going to run back out of here. After all those cutscenes happen, it's always a good idea to run out here, save, and run back in. Then we're going to run over here. And you can actually get in front of the fishy. My movements have not been great on this particular run, but that's fine. Learning how to run very efficiently is a very difficult skill, but something worth doing. So here you can just hold up. As soon as you're good, you just talk to him and then get into the fight. Now, one of the best strategies here is literally to just run away. Which, in this case, is what we're going to do. Sometimes they will actually have the... Alright, so he got more special, but we ran away, and that solves that. And you want to hold A, so that you start running as soon as you get on the chocobo, running way over to the cave. It's always a good idea to save here too. Now, the more confident you get in your run, the more saves you can start skipping. I'm going to show you all of the safety saves, but as you become more confident in your runs, you can certainly start to skip saves, because every save does cost you a couple seconds. We're going to run up here, talk to him, he hops on the chocobo. This runs us up to here, and now we can go through here. Now, there are 3 chests in here. Hey, French Tomberry. I would say typically that the chests are far enough away from a save point that they're not worth getting. If you're going to get any chest, right, they're pretty far out of the way. If you're going to get any chest, this is the closest one. But again, if it's a monster in a box, you're going to end up dying, and it's not going to be worth the effort of going to get it. So I usually skip that chest. And then we're running away from all these encounters because it's a waste of time to fight them. Now, unless I happen to have a skill that deals good damage to all enemies and it's fast, I want to walk down here and I want to actually stop at the top here and I want to save here. Usually I save twice. And then I'm going to enter from the top, because then if I buy a chocobo, I start at the top and it's easier to get to the mountain. So my personal route in here is I do get this one. Right, there's a lot of chests and items that you can check here. I like to get these ones here. So this is a monster. So this is probably going to kill me. If I'm lucky, I might be able to run away. Alright, well this is not awful, which is good. They do still change, but this is for a Kefka Narsh race, at which point it is irrelevant. So I like to go into the relic shop here and actually check the items here before I purchase anything. So there's a Moogle Charm, which is one of the best items in these races. So I'm definitely going to buy one of those. Also have Intense for 15. I'm going to buy 20 of those, because that's a great way to get rid of status effects, status ailments, zombie, petrify, any of those things, as well as bring people back from the dead, as well as heal everybody. So it's kind of a catch-all, and all you have to be on is the save point or the overworld, which you are a lot of the time in these races. Genji helmets for 79 is also very cheap, so I'm going to spend a little bit of money there. And I still have 4,500 bucks to purchase offensive items later on. And right up here, I'm going to get this item here. Now, if it's a hard mode race, I'm going to get this here, because these are all kind of on the way for where I'm going to go. Alright, we're going to look here. None of these items really interest me. The one that interests me the most is the Genji armor. So I'm going to consider that, but I'm not going to purchase it yet. There's a Revivify and a Tiger Fangs. Weapons mostly don't matter, but if you have the appropriate person, sometimes getting a top tier item is a good idea. I am going to buy one Revivify in the event that I don't see anything else to attempt to kill the Phantom things later on. So making sure you have, well, I guess I have elixirs as well, but I might end up using those. It's rare that I'll use a Revivify on a run, other than to try to kill Phantom Train. Then I run through here, run up and check the item shop here. So here we've got a whole bunch of relics. Hero rings are actually quite useful, because often you don't have a ton of damage. So I'm going to go with those. Running shoes I don't mind either, because they help your ATB fill up a little bit faster, so you can run away a little bit faster. It's not a huge difference, and I would never take them over quite a few other useful things, but in this case, they are pretty good. We're gonna get these guys. And we're actually gonna get rid of this experience egg. Now, I haven't seen any tools, and being able to kind of memorize what's in the shops at a quick glance and figuring out what your priorities are is something that takes time, but is where you want to end up. Right? I'm going to go run around and just make sure I didn't forget anything that was particularly useful, because at this point, I don't actually have a good plan for how to kill Vargas, which is unfortunate, because usually you want to have maybe a Super Ball, maybe a Elemental Shield to break, some kind of high-powered skill. So you have two options here. I'm going to go with the riskier option. Grab a Chocobo. Now the safe option would be to also go into the mansion, go down to the basement. You have another 6 chests you can get there. You also have a barrel and a clock on the right side, right wing of that. So typically I would just run over and do that, but I'm going to go and show you all those things I just talked about. The other thing to do, that is a possibility, is see what else breaks. So Aegis Shields break for a single target spell. I have a bunch of them, so I don't mind checking. Alright, so they break for Doom, which is not a bad thing. I have a Wall Ring, which is a multi-target party spell, which means it's probably it might be Palador, it could be any of the Curative Espers. So, now that I know what those break for, we're gonna run away. Like I said again, checking item breaks is a very important thing. Now, because I already did a bunch of shopping, and did some testing here. I want to save it so that when I go back and get more chests, they don't ruin all of the work that I just did. So there's 2 items to check over here. You got tiger fangs. That's not going to help us. And there's an ore lance. That's probably not going to help me either. Really, we're looking for a way to guarantee a kill, or likely guarantee a kill on Vargas. Because relying on Sabin is a bad strategy. Sometimes it's your only strategy, but it's a bad strategy. The Man-Eater, that's not helping us. The Eye Drop, that's definitely not helping us. There's some money. There's a Rising Sun. Remedy. Money. Okay, so none of those things helped us. It looks like we're going to be ending up going after Vargas without a good plan. Right, currently, as far as damage dealing skills that we have, if I can find a drill or a chainsaw, some kind of tool that deals damage, that would help. If I could find a breakable, that would help. If I could roll our time and try to get Meteor, but that's not a good strategy. I can use Jump, which is not going to deal a ton of damage, so that's not a good strategy either. The only magic he has is Float, as we know. I did forget one thing as well. Once you have all 3 people, you're getting more of a Terror in the Front Row, because Terror in the Front Row does give you cheaper shop items. Alright, so we're going to go up the mountain. If you do need the free heal, you can go up to Sabin's house and sleep in the bed. The cutscene is not skipped because it is a skippable cutscene. So it does take a little bit of time, but sometimes you need that free heal. There is also 1 item there that you can get. So that's something to be aware of if you are hurting and you need to heal and you want to try 1 more item slot. So now we're about to go up the mountain. We're going to save the game real quick. And I also do 2 saves here because there's a save way halfway up the mountain, and I'm going to over-save one of those slots halfway up the mountain. But if I realize that I'm not going to be able to defeat Vargas with what I have and I need to run back to South Figaro to create a new strategy, then I don't want to run back down, I just want to reload the save file. Alright, so we're going to run our way up Mount Colts. And we're going to run away from all encounters. You basically want to run away from all encounters the entire time. Unless you have a really fast, efficient way to kill things, at which point sometimes it's faster to kill them than it is to just run, or I guess if they're unrunnable. Now there are 2 chests that you can get from this area. I recommend skipping both of them because they're far away, out of the way, and they're far from a save point as well. Same thing with this chest, it's not quite as far away, but I think that the time loss is too much to warrant getting. Having this charm bangle is really helpful because it greatly lowers our encounter rate. So here's the save point. Save over one of these. Oops. Continue to run away. We unfortunately have not found any tools yet. Thankfully, we are able to run away from all of these encounters so far. So again, Vargas is the next big roadblock to our plan. Unfortunately, we don't have a good plan for him, I think. And what I'm going to learn in the Vargas fight as I'm killing the Ipoos is what deals more damage, jumping, or I'm going to see how much damage jumping does. And if it's pretty minute, then I might be rolling our time. We'll try to get lucky. So I usually stop right here. I heal up everybody. Be pretty liberal with your healing items because you're not going to use a ton of them. And you may not need to do anything else. Alright, so I think we're good. You want to make sure you're all in the back row if you're not ready, and we're going to go into this fight. Alright, so here's the Vargas fight. I'm going to just pause for a moment. Vargas fight is different in Beyond Chaos than it is in regular vanilla, because you're not guaranteed to have Blitz available. So after you kill the 2 Ipoos, you only get to hit him once before he triggers the cutscene where Sabin comes in. So you want to make that hit as good as possible. Now, if you have an ability to counterattack, the most common being retort on sword tech, counterattacks won't trigger the cutscene immediately, although it will still trigger it. So if you have sword tech, you can use retort, Vargas will hit you, you'll counterattack, and then you can also use dispatch, and that'll get 2 attacks in. But otherwise, 1 attack will trigger the cutscene. His hit points have been modified, and they're going to be between 1,000 and 1,100. So you want to try to hit him for at least that much, and you can actually skip the whole solo save and fight. If you can't, you want to hit him for as much as possible so that solo saving has less work to do. Because often that solo saving fight is very dangerous and he doesn't often survive. So with that aside, we're going to go into this. Alright, so that deals no damage. All you have is float. We can sketch and see if sketch will deal any damage. 15 damage. Well, I'll take that. That's real funny. Alright, so that jump did about 366. That looks like it's going to be my best damage dealer. I mean, if you want, you could roll our time. There's a whole lot of bad options in our time. You could also always check to see if you can run away. You can't run from Vargas, but... check. It is very unlikely that Vargas is actually weak to Doom, so we're just going to go with jump here. And we're going to pray a little bit that Sabin has good skills for good damage. Not great. Now we do know that Blitz is in Seed as well as Throw, which are both very good skills that would help us out immensely here. Obviously Blitz is the best, because that'll... Pummel will still one-shot kill Vargas. And so that's obviously your best way to kill Vargas if you have access to it. So I always want to get right into item command as best as I can. He'll always get to use a special. We locked it, that's good. Alright, so what do we got here? We got Poison Claw, which is nice because I can put on a Tiger Fang instead. And can't use anything else for shield, so shield it is. Alright, but we're going to use El Nino, because that's going to be our highest damage command as long as he doesn't absorb water, which he does. Alright, so we've learned that that's not going to work. Now we're kind of in the Hold A and Pray section of the game. Well, that's handy. So, Tiger Fang's proccing Ultima is pretty useful. Because that could have been a pretty dicey fight. That tickles my funny bone if that happened, though. Alright, I'll take it. Alright, we're going to continue to run away from all encounters here. Now we are going to equip him all the way. I am going to show you here, just so that you guys can see what it looks like. If I go over here, when it's in yellow like that, what that means is that's what it's going to proc. Now if Tiger Fangs break, they will also break for Ultima. Now we already know that Tiger Fangs don't break because we checked our item menu before, but at least they proc Ultima, so that's still pretty good. I'm going to put that back on him. Remind shoes, give him a hero ring, throw him in the back row, call it a day. This chest I recommend not getting, because if it kills you, it sets you so far back that it's often difficult to recover from. So I always skip this chest every single run, no questions asked. As soon as you're off the mountain, you're going to want to save the game. Because often that mountain is a pretty big hurdle for people, and you want to make sure that once you're off it, you never have to redo it. Then you're going to run your way up here. You can save before going in, you don't really need to, because you can't softlock because of this skip. Now the reason why you would save before it is because if you're going to get, there's a pot here you can get. Now again, you want to make sure that Terra's in the top first position. You can come here. So fire rods are pretty good breakable. They're going to break for fire 2 and ignore defense, so I'm going to buy 20 of those. So that's going to help in the run. Mega elixirs might help a little bit. They're not the best healing items. You can't use them outside of combat, but they're not awful. I don't mind getting in a couple of peace rings and a couple of amulets just because I have a little bit of money to spend. But by no means are they crucial, because for the most part, unless I start seeing those types of specials, I'm just going to run with the running shoes and the hero rings. And the charm bang. Alright, so at this point, I would recommend just going forward. I've started to skip all of these chests. Again, if you feel like you really want to try them, you can get these chests here, and you can get the other chests in the other room. But I think they're not worth the time that it takes to get them. And again, I would only save there if you're going to get the chests. I did that in backwards order, but hopefully that makes sense. So all you have to do is talk to them, they click, and that click is all that you have to do. Right, there is no dialogue, just clicking. Or twinkling. Twink. Right up here. Alright, so once that's done, then we go outside and we go find Bannon. It should be noted that here you want to actually say yes, because it is the fastest way to get to the next section, and the item that you get from this is randomized tier list anyway, so there's no reason not to. So then usually what I do is I run up here, and at this point I'm going to look at Bannon. He's got cards, he's got a Mirage Vest, which is really good, that's going to protect him from a lot of stuff. Economize is going to help if he has magic. I'm just going to see what he has. So he's Fight Morph Tech item. Not super great skill wise, but certainly should be just fine. So you'll notice Terra still has the Charm Bangle, which is good. Lock is gone as usual. So usually I'll do that again just to make sure that we have the best gear that we have. Now you'll notice that nobody's healed yet. There is no actual automatic heal for the party here. South of the shop, so, oh yeah, first you always want to save it here before you hop on the river raft. In this case, I would probably just use these to heal, but you can also, another option is you can come down here and get a free heal here. There is an auto heal. However, the auto heal here takes up a significant amount of time, and so you have to make the decision as to whether it's worth wasting the items to go faster, or going and sleeping here. Now, if you are sleeping here, the other thing you can do is you can come and get the stash of items here, because you want to be healed for that, right? So, right. Now, I will often skip all of these chests because I think that they're so far out of the way that it's a waste of time. But you can sometimes, like if you find the only charm bangle here, or the only Moogle charm in the seed, that can give you a very big advantage. So that's kind of the push and pull as to whether you open chests or not. You might get monsters in boxes, you might get top tier items that are going to give you a significant advantage over your opponent. So, you're healed up, you managed to heal before going and getting all those chests, save again, and we're going to go get on the raft. Hop on the board, yes. So as we're going on the raft here, again, mostly you're just going to want to run away from everything. Sometimes it's actually, so we can't run there. So we always want to use the most efficient way to kill them. Cold dust is not ideal. So we're going to use El Nino. You're frozen. Another thing we're going to queue up. Okay, so that's a multi-target, high damage spell. A weight trick. El Nino does the trick, so that's good. So we know that for that encounter we can just use El Nino. Now if you hold down here, it'll automatically select left, and then you can just mash A to make sure that that selects the one you want. Can't run. The other thing is you can break fire rods. Now usually I would recommend doing the El Nino above breaking items. Alright, and in this case, we're going to want an El Nino anyway. So here's weight tricking to make sure that their ATBs don't go up, and mine, while my command is happening. Okay, so that heals him as well. Hidden behind here just so that I can give a complete stream here. So these guys we can run from, we're just going to do that. Now often, it's actually better to input a command with one person so that Bannon is not the last person running. The other thing you can do, and what I'm going to do in this next section just to illustrate it. Now if you feel safe, you can skip this save. We're going to throw Bannon in the top row here, so that he's the first person to run away. I'm going to save too just as a safety save, but often you can skip that one if you feel safe so far with the encounters and move your way up to the second save. Again, you can hold down here and just mash A to select left, and there's one encounter there. Can't run. Jump on him, and I'll Nino the other two. So one thing one thing you want to keep track of in all of the different encounters that you fight is which enemies absorb which elements, so that you don't slow yourself down, right? You want to have a plan on how to kill every enemy as fast as possible. So here, we're going to save, as we're going to go and fight everybody's favorite octopus. Running away. Come on, Bannon. You can see there the Mirage Vest doing some work. Mirage Vests are one of the most useful items to have in a race seed, because enemy specials are one of the most annoying things you have to deal with, and that immediately cancels them out. We're going to jump on this guy, and we're going to El Nino. The other two are going to defend. Oh, that's awkward. Alright, so I probably should have queued up something different. But that was a mistake on my part for certain. trying to kill things as quickly and efficiently as possible. No problem breaking rods to do that. Alright, so here's Ultro's fight. Again, I always see if you can run away, because every now and then you can, and you might as well. Here, gets to go first. We're gonna wait trick here. Alright, so fire deals good damage. Let's see what his special does. Condemn. El Nino also deals damage, not a ton. Hey, Orange Joker, thank you, thank you. We're gonna break fire rods because that's looking like it's gonna deal the most damage. Alright, and that's that. And again, you want to go to defend to ensure you're out of the menu. Now you just want to mash your way through here. This is one of the only cutscenes that's left in the game, and that's because it's during combat. During one of these Get Nurse runs, that is. Okay, so scenarios. I'm going to talk a little bit about why we can do the scenarios the way we do them. So of course you do want to save here, just in case something bad happens and you have to start over. You don't want to have to re-kill Ultros. Now, the orders that we use, I would say on 99% of the runs, is doing Terror Scenario first, and then Sabins, and then Locks. The reason why we do that is so that you can unequip people as you go. So we do Terror Scenario so then you can unequip Terra and Edgar, and you have that extra gear to use on Sabin scenario. Then with Sabin, as you go through the whole scenario, by the time you get to the end of it, you get to unequip Sabin, Cyan, and Gao, and use all of that gear for Lock. Because usually with Lock, you're going to go with solo Lock against Tunnel Armor, and you want to have as many opportunities and see as many shops as possible before you do that, so that Lock has the best chance of getting through Tunnel Armor alive. So with all that said, we're going to go down and do Terror Scenario first. Once again, the plan is to run away from everything. Now, if you remember, I put the Charm Bangle on Terra specifically so that I wouldn't have to re-equip it here. Right, so we're going to have the advantage of the Charm Bangle as we run through this scenario. Oh, this is awkward. I mean, I hate to do this, but I'd still rather do it than not. Alright, get some levels, a little bit of gold, there's some Zephyr Capes. I will have to see if those break or not. Alright, usually I save it right here too, because sometimes the river can be trolly and you don't want to have to redo it. Run away. Alright, now again, safety precautions, you can always save here. I said it once, but I'll reiterate. You know, the less saves you do, the more time you save, as long as you don't die. But if you die and you haven't saved lately, you lose a ton of time. So, especially when you're starting to learn these races, save to save a lot. You want to run through here, you run over here. Now this next room is the most dangerous room in the whole run or scenario, because this has higher level monsters and a higher chance that Banon's going to die. So thankfully we can run away here, and we're going to do that. Mute's not a big deal. Pummel Death does what? Thankfully he misses Banon because he has a Mirage Vest. Same, and we're good. Alright, so this area here, all the data logs taken out, you have to go this way. You want to hold A, get to this point, hold up, and and then you'll just walk right through it while you're holding A. It'll take it correctly every time, and you don't actually have to time anything. That is the fastest way through that room. Once again, we're going to run away from all these enemies here. Now, as soon as you're out of the caves here, anytime on this bridge or into Arvis's house here, you want to take a moment, unequip Terra, unequip Edgar, take those things off, double check again if you want to, and then finish the scenario. And you can save again here. And start saving the scenario. So I'm going to walk in here, I'm going to get Shadow first. You want to mash through all this text here. Him. Buckle partner, yes. Now you can either run down or run up here, doesn't matter which way you do it. Just to make him come back. Oops, and I kind of did this wrong actually. Because you want to find out what you're working with as far as Shadow first before you go into shopping mode. So having throw available is a very good thing to know. Having lore available, also good, although there's no good lures. Having magic is not ideal. And then we're going to throw some relics on. Now, because saving's going to be with us forever, and Shadow is not, we're going to throw the charm bangle here. Alright, so now we're going to do some shopping now that we have them queued up. Smoke bombs, ooh, fake mustache. So that's a command changer, that's worth getting for sure. I have hero rings, so earrings are not that useful. If I didn't have hero rings, earrings might be a worthwhile thing because they do improve the damage of your broken rods, or broken items in general. Smoke bombs are great. There's actually a reason for me to sell some stuff. So basically you want to throw anything, but you want to sell anything that is, for lack of a better term, not useful. Now the tricky thing is some of these things might actually break, and I may not know that. So I'm never going to use the Serena ring. Doubt I'll use the Tintin bar, but maybe. So, good enough. Smoke bombs are really good because they guarantee that you get out of the fight regardless of whether you use them. Gonna tent here again. And then once we get before this section here, we're going to save it right here. Now, if you are not confident in the gear that you've picked up as high quality gear, you can take the time to unequip these guys. I'm actually not going to take these things off because I have duplicates of them. But if you do that, then there's a possibility that you're going to want to borrow that gear with Cyan. Alright, we're going to save that here. Alright, so he wants that Man-Eater. He's going to use Crystal Shield, Genji Helmet, and I guess a Cotton Robe. So he has GP Rain, which is great. I do have 219 GP, which is going to deal double that damage, which should be enough to kill Leader. And if it's not, it'll be pretty dang close. I'm still going to throw on Rain Shoes. And then here we go. The other option that I have here, oh, didn't quite kill him. That's unfortunate. The other option that I have, which I'm going to use, is the fire rod. Alright, so that's that part done. So once that's killed, if you did unequip, you always want to re-equip, and then you want to run out and save. You don't have to redo that leader fight, which can also be somewhat trolly sometimes. If you have a free special or an instant special, it can be a little bit trickier to navigate. Now there is a chest there I always skip. As soon as that runs over there, you can run right back in and start this fight here. You don't actually have to wait behind that wall at all. Then all I have to do is fight and hit Kefka to start this cutscene. And again, there are 3 chests up here, but I think that they're far enough away that there's not worth the effort of getting them. However, if you feel like you're in a real big pinch, you certainly can. Now, I'm just holding A to get to that fight as fast as possible. Now this next encounter, alright, so we're going to go and do this as well. This next encounter, again, all these enemies are randomized, so often you can just run away. In this case, we not. I'm going to try El Nino. I'm going to hold up here. Oh, I do have a, whoops, that was a silly idea. I didn't actually mean to fully select that, but oh well. What's done is done. That's going to be a big waste. Actually, can I run now? Looks like I can actually. So yeah, I could run away, or I could just kill them. Actually, I'm just gonna run away. So it was only the bad guys that I could not run away from, and we're out of here. More efficient than figuring out a different way of killing them. I could just throw weapons at them, but it would take longer. Unless I could find a multi-target weapon. Holding down here, hold right, hold up, get into this. Oh, we're poisoned, that's bad. What are the odds? I don't even have... Alright, you can always use your gear to protect you from poison and to heal it as well. Good. That fight, you have to make sure you're targeting him from the side, not from the middle of the fight, or he will get mad at you. Now, El Nino's not the fastest animation, but I think it's still going to be faster than trying to beat them down with throw and fight. Ooh, so we got a flame shield drop. That's really good for 2 reasons. 1, flame shield is good gear to wear, and 2, it's something you can unequip and break for a lot of damage. Set this up for the cadet, just in the event that the El Nino does not kill him, which it did not, because I would like to ideally kill the cadet right now, right like that. There we go. And then you can just hold right. We got Magitech here. Now, just run away from these guys, so we're gonna do that. Again, running away from enemies that you normally can't run away from is often faster than killing them, but not always. We get to run away from these guys too, which means we get to run away from all these mandatory fights here in the Magitech facility, I should say, in the Imperial camp. Alright, so once again, we are going to run away here. Alright, so as soon as you're out, one of the first things you want to do is save it. Now, if you really want, you can also save it again right here. From the camp, all the way until you get to the train, you 100% want to run from every encounter. I mean, you normally do anyway, but you especially want to, so that Shadow does not run away. We're gonna break that. Let's see what happens here. Okay, so everybody died. But that's actually not it's the ideal situation. You don't actually want to win any of these fights here because Shadow has an opportunity to run away. Thankfully he did not there. Then you go down here, you go right, you go up, and then you'll be at the train. So now when it is a pincer, he can't run away. And this is a great opportunity to use the smoke bomb. That's just faster. I actually do want to do this, and put a smoke bomb at the top. I mean, you don't need to organize that well, but a couple seconds spent organizing could actually save you some time later if you know exactly where things are. We're gonna run our way up here. There's a sweet dance move here that happens, and this happens just to let the music get up to speed. Now, I'm gonna show you the safe way of doing this, which is to go and hit the save point. So this is the safest way, is to run over here. You can talk to this ghost, get him to come with me, and then you want to hit the save point. So this is actually an awful ghost to have because he has a Christian. Truly awful. But we're gonna save it anyway. Now, if you do go this way, you might as well take the 2 steps, get the free item that's hidden here. You have to be facing up 1 step away. There's basically a hidden chest that you can walk on, but it is there. Where we got a force shield, which is good. Now we're gonna run back here. Now, if you do not want to go the safety route, when you're here, you can just run onwards. And I'm gonna show you what it would look like if you did not get that safety save. Oh, we can't run here. Now what we're gonna do here, we're gonna throw to kill him. We're gonna El Nino these guys. And I'm just holding the cursor on to make sure that ATBs don't fill up. Alright, so the ghost is gone. Now, this second card is literally identical to the first card, so it's always the second ghost is a shop. Again, you always want to shop to see what you can get. There's some more cheap tents, we don't need any more though. We do have somebody with jump, so a dragon horn is not the worst idea. Getting pro rods is a better idea though. As you can see, a lot of these things don't sell for very much. Even though I bought this, it's not good, so I don't want to keep it. For this, for that. Okay, we'll buy the 1 dragon horn. 5 of those. Then we're gonna move on. The other thing you can do is the very last ghost on this train is also a ghost who will come with you. He'll be identical to the other one I got. So I'm not going to get him because he had a cursed shield, but if you lose him by this point, you can also grab him again. So now moving up here, walk up. I guess I get him to encounter, run away, can't run. El Nino. How much money I got left, but not much, but it's enough to kill him. Alright, so once you step up here, that ghost comes here, then you can down fucking him. You don't have to worry about the rest of it at all. And again, you can just run away if you so choose, as long as it will allow you to. Now this cutscene section is a little bit choppy just by the way that it's created. Hit the switch, run back in, hit the switch again. Typically we'll save here every time, especially if I skip the first save point, then run along. So here, if you really need to heal, you can go into this. You can go in here and you can go and sit at the chair and eat. The whole cutscene is there. It's going to waste quite a few seconds, but it does give you a free heal. So if you don't have any other way to resurrect somebody, which I don't actually have any way to resurrect people other than tents, that would be an option. But because we're all healed, we're all fine, we're going to skip that there. We're definitely going to skip the chest that's at the back of that one because it's not worth the potential risk. And then here, it's actually faster to run on the outside of the cart than it is to run through the inside. So that's what we're going to do here for both of these. Now run. El Nino. Select GP Rain and just to let the cursor sit there. That makes sure the ATVs don't move forward. Then I'm going to queue up any weapons. We use GP Rain. And that's good enough. So now you want to hop in here. Let's just save one more time before you go and fight Phantom Train. You can throw these guys in the front row here, or you can do it right before you get to the train. This saves you a little bit of time, but you might get into an encounter where you're in the front row and you might take a little bit more damage. Flip those two switches, the two outside ones. Going up here and here. You want to figure out what is your plan. So we have an easy plan because we have 2 item users, and if you remember, I did buy one with Revivify specifically to try to kill the Phantom Train. Now I do still 5 elixirs, those would work as well. Phoenix Downs also work, Explosion also work. All of those things will work. Now if that does not work, and you should always plan, always try to go the undead route against Phantom Train, but always have a backup plan in your head as to what to do if that's not going to happen. So, he can GP Rain. I've got enough GP Rain to deal 1200 damage, a little bit more than that, so that's not bad. You have Throw, and that's a back row thing, so throwing's very good. You always want to use physical damages or things that ignore defense against the Phantom Train because its magic's defense is very, very high. So El Nino will be very useless, GP Rain and Throw will be very useful. So, what does that tell me? Now Riku does have the Tiger Fang, which does proc Ultima if that goes off, so if for some strange reason the Revivify does not work, then that's the way we're going to do it. So, I'm going to hop into this. They're all in the front row, which means they're in the back row for this fight. The best person to use the Revivify is actually me. We're going to do that. We're going to see what happens here. It is an undead train, so we're good. But otherwise, I was ready to throw scimitars, do GP Rain, and then try to proc Ultima with the Tiger Fang. Thank you for the follow, Cream of Fleet. Appreciate that. Got another white cape. Oh, got a white cape, which is nice. So this part here, it is on a timer. You can actually spend some time rearranging your gear if you would like. If you want to do anything here, you can. I'm more or less pretty happy with everything. But it is on a timer, so you literally just have to wait. So. Alright. Usually I save it right here. And I'm going to throw these guys, save an ensign into the back row. I'm also going to unequip Shadow, because Shadow's going to be leaving us very soon. And I don't mind doing that, even though we're going to be walking a little bit, because usually you can, it doesn't really matter if Shadow dies or not, it's about taking the gear off. Alright, you want to walk all your way over here. I always save it again here just in case. You do get a free heal when you hop over the waterfalls, so you don't need to worry about healing. Now, what you do want to think about though is how are you going to kill Rizzopas. So I have GP Rain and I have item breaks, so I'm fine. Hop there, why not? Alright, so this is the infamous Piranha fight. I actually don't want to use his fight because I don't actually want to proc Ultima right now. I'm just going to defend. Usually you just want to defend, kill one, and then defend with both. That's going to allow you to take the least amount of damage. Actually, I could be casting Arbalest, which I will just for funsies. But most of you just want to sit there and defend. Because you actually have to wait about 60 seconds. And I'll show you the music cue that you wait for. You wait for one full loop plus a little bit. Oh, sure. So this is the cue. That rising there. So now, anytime you attack after, it's going to be fine. Oh! Well, I'm apparently showed wrong. Pretty awkward. So I really hope that I do proc Ultima now. There we go. There's our fishy friend. You ideally want to queue up a weapon or an item that is going to kill or very quickly or mostly kill Visipas right before you kill the last Piranha, so that hopefully you can kill him before you get any attacks off. Alright, so then you got toasted. We got roast fish. Got a wall ring, can't use it, that's unfortunate. Alright, so this is Gao. He starts in your party, you don't actually have to go through any effort of getting him like you normally do in the vanilla game. He just starts in your party here, which is really nice. He's got a Roar Lance, he's got some decent stuff. He's our Blitzer, has magic as well. Now, there are no more bosses to fight in this scenario. And you do have 2 item users and you have smoke bombs. So, you're feeling pretty good about finishing this scenario. The thing to consider at this very moment, you have 2 thoughts. One is, how are you going to get through tunnel armor with solo lock? And then how are you going to kill Kefka at Narsh? So currently, we do have a flame shield, which is great, and usually we'll deal fire 3, which is very powerful. We also have fire rods, and we also have pearl rods. So we do definitely have things to break. Now, one thing you want to note early on in the race was if Locke has item or not. Because if Locke has item, tunnel armor becomes a lot easier. Although he can't currently wear a wall ring, so that makes it harder. Wall ring is most useful for that tunnel armor fight. It is useful in other areas, but that's the biggest reason you want to get one. So at this point, if you feel really confident and secure in your ability to get through tunnel armor and kill Kefka at Narsh, then I recommend just going straight ahead to the Serpent Trench. If you don't, if you're not sure how that's going to happen, then I recommend you go shopping. But I'm also going to save here, just because it's good practice. Right, we still have a Charm Bangle equipped. We can hook him up with Hero Ring and Rain Shoes. And we are going to mosey on. Just a note on relics. While I am using a Hero Ring and Running Shoes, they're not the ideal things to be using. Ribbon is one of your best relics to have because it nullifies a lot of annoying specials. Hero Rings are very useful in doing that extra 20% of 5% damage with your attacks, but Charm Bangle and Moogle Charm are king. Which, now that we've seen all of our characters except for... yeah, no luck. Except for Celis, it's always good to see who your Moogle Charm user is, but we haven't found them yet. So we're just going to check all 4 shops. Alright, so we got ice shields that we can purchase. That's really useful. We've got cheaper X potions than the elixirs, so if we feel like we need more healing, that's not a bad idea. Muscle belts are not best, but they're okay. I don't have a lot of money. That's another factor, is that if you don't have a lot of money, there's not a heck of a lot of point to coming over here shopping, right? There's nothing worth buying in this shop for the most part. There's a noise blaster, which would be a useful thing, but this late in the race, our tools user is Terra. We're never going to use it, so no point in doing that. If we had somebody who had natural magic with a good magic skill, or we gotten like Grand Train as a lore, or something where an economizer would be useful, picking one up is a really good idea. So getting one very early in the race is also a very good idea. But this late in the race, we already know all of our character skills. We know that we don't have any good magic skills. We don't have any good lores so far. It's not worth picking up. You're not going to end up using it for the most part. Here, coin toss, we already know that's bad. Atlas armament, we already have hero rings, so that's not a good idea. Dried meat is way more expensive. The Ragnarok sword is not a bad idea, but it's going to be used by a character that we no longer have, and I'm not going to get again. So I wouldn't worry about using that. Nutkin suits, I would say, is worthwhile. It is one of the better gears, and it's going to be very useful, and it's going to make me want to sell a bunch of stuff to do so. The Aegis shields, I don't think, well, they don't sell for a ton anyway, but I don't think I'm going to be using them for the Doom very much more. Somebody can only use one of those. That's a Dragon Armor. Wall rings, unfortunately, cannot be used by anybody. I don't think I'm actually going to use these. So I'm going to buy 2 Nutkin suits. And we're going to buy some ice shields as well. Now just keep in mind, I am going very slowly through all these things. You ideally want to be running through these things as fast as possible. I can only buy 1 ice shield, that's really silly. We don't need eye drops. Remedy's not bad. Heat knife's no good. Right, and really, when you can purchase things that break for high damage things, you just go into fire sale mode. Anything that's not really useful can go. Don't care. White cape, I might use. Spin shoot, don't care. XPS, don't care. In the rare opportunity that I do get Celis, then maybe, but probably not. Some bar I haven't used yet, not gonna bother. Let's buy some ice shields. And away we go. Quick would be happy with this fight. So now that I've done some shopping, I always like to rearrange just so that I have an idea of where everything is. And you kind of tend to learn to know where the rods are, where the shields are, etc. You can also, if you're feeling scared, you can re-equip everybody. Save, and then we're going to head on to the church. Once again, we are running away from everything. And now that we're starting to approach the end of the race, I can start to be a little bit more liberal with smoke bombs. Right, if I had more smoke bombs, I would be using them more frequently. This is a preemptive, but I cannot run away. What do we do here? We do this. Actually, no. This is the fastest way out of this encounter. Oh, alright, so that's one reason that I maybe shouldn't have sold the amulets, but I'll just burn a remedy, that's fine. Now you definitely do want to save before you go into the Serpent Trench. You can sometimes find some pretty trolly enemies down here. When you're right down here, as soon as you run down here, there's a hop you right into the trench. Serpent Trench, you are going to encounter either 3 fights or 4 fights, depending on which direction you go. I always recommend trying to run away being your first option. If you can't run away, then obviously you have to find the best way to kill them. Here we're just going to run away. Now, you always want to go right here. Going right here is going to give you 1 encounter here, and then it allows you to run through a short cave. Now this is a preemptive, so we're just going to run away. Problemos there. In this short thing, because we're so far from where we saved, I skipped this chest. If you really want, you can get it, but I don't recommend it. Now here, because I've been able to run from the last 2 encounters, I'm going to go left, because that gives me 2 encounters but no cave to run through. If the encounters have been very tricky and very time consuming, then I am going to go right and go through the cave. But because I can run from these encounters, it's faster to go left, deal with 2 encounters, whereas if I deal with 1 encounter on the right and run through the cave, I think that would end up being longer on this particular run. So there I was using R to make sure that I go up through the menu faster. Alright, so that's the last encounter there. And now we are going to be going across the seas to Nikia. Now this is our last opportunity to see new shops. You can shop in South Figure if you want, but this is the last opportunity to see new shops. So again, if you feel confident with your Tunnel Armor fight and your Kefka Knife fight, you can absolutely just skip these shops. I'm going to go visit them just for the sake of showing you what you would be looking for here. So at this point, what are we looking for? Flame shields are good, pearl rods are good, fire rods are good. Again, money is another question too. If you have no money, there's no point in looking at shops. Alright, there's wall rings that nobody can use, which is unfortunate. Torn bangles are great. Push shields are good. I already have some. There's an air anchor, so if I'd been able to buy that earlier on, that would have been great for my tool user, but alas, I cannot, so I do not want it. There's some shurikens. They're pretty expensive though. When you have a character with throw, really you want to look for any weapon that's a high damage weapon that's very low priced. So that force arm is a little bit interesting. I am going to buy that because it will definitely help with Locke taking on Tunnel Armor. Key rings sometimes are not bad, but that's quite a bit of money for one. Here. Now, if you have any dead characters at this point, then I recommend using the inn to bring them back to life. I haven't used those yet. Go for this, go for this. Nobody used these, so who cares? As in, so my priorities go down very quickly. That gives me some more things to break, as well as different elements to try. Wow, this guy's trolling me hard. Come on, buddy. Let's go. Let's go. Alright. So at this point, again, right before you get into this, you're going to want to unequip everybody. And you can always double check. Then you hop on there and hop over. Hold down again, it'll auto select that. Now here, you absolutely want to save 2 save files. The reason for that is you may want to change your mind. So here, I'm going to talk about a couple things. One, we are definitely going to be doing the skip. Sometimes you want to skip and get cells. Sometimes you want to skip and not. Sometimes, so let's say the item shop here in South Figaro sold Super Vault and I wanted to purchase more, I would need to do all my shopping first before I do the skip. But regardless of what I need to do, it's still faster to do the skip than to go through the whole merchant scenario. So, just a note on that. So Locke does have item, which is going to be make make this whole section quite a bit easier. So here you can actually do this skip. If you're really quick right off the bat, which because I paused once already, I'm not going to do it here. But you can actually skip without having to go in the house because there's no dialogue. Now here, this is the way you want to skip. You wait until these, whoops, that's a bad example. I should probably walk properly. Okay, so there. And usually, once you're in the menu, this is when you're going to do your equipping anyway. Oh, you can't actually wear anything? Yeah, anyway this, and anyway that. And that's all I really care about. I've sold everything else, but oops, whatever. For the moment, we're going to go with that. So once you hold this, you hold right. Those clip right into them. So here would be the point where if you wanted to go get Celis, you'd go here. I'm going to go and do it without Celis. Then once you're out, I always save over one, but leave the other one there. So if I do want to go back and get Celis, I still can. I don't lock myself into doing just this scenario. Alright, save again here. Alright, so now I can be quite liberal with my smoke bombs. This is the last scenario and kind of my last time to run around with random encounters. So, smoke bombs are the safest, easiest way through all this stuff. Now, if you've taken damage, you want to heal here. If you haven't taken damage, you can skip it. Again, we're just holding A. That's why we use the memory cursor, because it speeds the whole process up. Alright, so usually you want to stop right here. This is one square away from the tunnel armor fight. Again, the reason why I want these two is because I want the highest M block possible. And 71 M block is going to allow me to block a lot of things. Normally I want reflect with a wall ring, but I don't have access to that. So we're going to take the charm bangle off. This charm bangle doesn't help in this fight. Hero rings can give me some more charm bangles to bring my M block down, so hero rings can give me more damage on the item I break, as well as help me out here. So now we're going to go to this fight. I'm going to see if I can run away, just to see if I can. There's tech laser. Oops. So I don't really want to mess around. We're going to break an ice shield. That'll do it. Tunnel armor will always have between 1,000 and 1,200 hit points roughly. Gotta get those out of the menu. So breaking stuff is definitely the best way to do that. Got a thunder out, that's not bad, that's a good thing to notice. Alright, now we're here. If you are bringing lock, you can leave him equipped. If you're not bringing lock, then you would definitely want to go unequipped. So I'll show you what I would do if I was not bringing lock. I would just grab him, unequip him, and then go save it. Because I did not get Celis. Now if I had gotten Celis too, you'd also unequip Celis. And you go here, got this, we are prepared, and it gets you right in here. Now, the best way to kill Kefka on most seeds is to use item breaks. So the most important people to use, based on that logic, are item users, which Terra is an item user. Now having people with a backup plan, like Sulla, has item break and GP range, so that's very useful. Edgar is very much not useful. Saban has El Nino, which is okay. Kutan has throw and item, which is actually better. And you have blitz, but no item. So, we're going to swap that for that, and take these three. Although Saban actually has he can use the Tiger Fang, so that's actually going to be a little bit better than Terra. So that's why we're going to take that. And you don't actually have to fill all these, you can leave some here, you just have to have at least one in each. And the reason why we use the middle one is because that starts on the left side of the field and it allows us to walk better to skip all the soldiers. So that's the party we're going to go with. And then we skip right into the fight here. Oops. So you want to change here. grab here, you're going to take this left lane here, you're going to go right down to this center spot here. This is where you can pause. Let's do that. Trail rings and running shoes. That's what the seed gave us. Delta the Nice Shield 2, which is going to help against if he happens to get any turns with Nice 2. Then you wait for that to go by. Walk down here. Down here. You want to make sure that you don't ever walk into the square right beside the enemies. Because if you do that, if you're trying to get too quick, you'll actually get into an encounter with them. So wait until they move out of the way, and then go. Now here you want to wait for a rider to run by, and then get into the fight with Get. Here, again, you can always see if you can run away. Usually you can't. And here we go. Ice Shield. That deals damage, that's good. The reason why I have all those hero rings equipped is because it makes these all deal more damage. Now, because Ice Shield dealt damage, there's no reason for me to try Flame Shields. Then you can go to defense, and then time is now, right on the escape sound. So, that there is kind of my run through with the Kefka at Night Beyond Chaos races. I hope you all found this helpful. I will clip this and post it, and hopefully people will find this useful. If you do have any questions, my name is Darkslash. Feel free to send me a direct message on Discord or just ask me in Twitch chat sometime. I'm happy to answer any questions, and yeah, until then, I hope you guys enjoy racing the Beyond Chaos Kefka at Night races. So, have a good night.